Hello, welcome at Travel Culture. We're back with the Banana Garden series. Africa's banana garden can provide one of the greatest inventions in the world, as we shall explore in these series. First, how are bananas planted? A banana stem is planted 3 meters feet by 3 meters wide and 3 meters deep, takes about 18 months to grow. The plantain will then produce a banana fruit. It will also produce other babies that will replace it once its own fruit is harvested. It's also these baby stems when too many on one bunch. Some are cut away while others are planted to make more banana plantain. Here, we are at the harvesting stage using a hoe to cut the long fruit stem down since we got no paying. Every home in Africa is expected to have a garden. Long ago, homes were built on huge land allowing farming. Now only few families in villages have that luxury. Today, with land scarcity and land grabbing, most urban homes like these are on small plots, largely have compounds, but squeeze in a small garden like this one here. Now we have harvested our banana crop. It's being cut off the stem using an African knife. The fruit grow on top in the middle of the stem, surrounded by banana leaves, to support its growth growing into a long bunch. Uganda was the largest banana exporter in the world at some point, but it's now India. The staple food of the country is bananas. There are several types of bananas, but the food bananas are those that remain green to be cooked, not the yellowed ones. However, today we learn about another eaten component of a banana that is rarely known. In Uganda and many parts of the world, once bananas are harvested, it's only the fruit that is taken. The stem and leaves are laid in the garden for mulching. They are left to rot and fertilize the garden. Well, sometimes the leaves may be taken off the cut plant for cooking, but they are usually considered too grown to use other leaves. What we are cutting now is the remaining banana stem after the fruit harvest has been collected aside. Did you know a banana stem can be eaten in various ways, such as it being eaten as a sauce or drink as a juice? The stem is an important source of vitamins like B6, potassium, etc., all that help in our body, like removing the kidney stones and cleaning urine. But how is it made? In this series, we learn first how it's eaten as a sauce. Please be sure to kindly follow subsequent episodes to follow more. It will be super awesome. But first things first, the banana stem sauce. The process of making a banana stem sauce can be hectic or simple. The stem of a banana is lined with several layers that make up the banana tree stem. The outer layers are peeled off as it's being done here to get the middle layer, the heart of the stem. It's then cut out. One may take the whole portion depending. We took a huge part, enough to make us both the sauce and juice, as we shall see. Nothing on the banana gets wasted. Once we are done, we carefully lay the peels back in the garden as normally done for mulching and fertilization from rotting. We now carry our food back into the house to start the cooking process. Be sure to stick around and learn the whole process, please. Whoa, it's quite heavy. Oh, here we remove any ripened bananas going bad. Sometimes it's difficult to know when the green banana is really ready. It's ripening like these that indicate. We've seen how we harvested the banana tree stem heart. Now we start the cooking process. The stem is first washed thoroughly clean here at the sink. Leave it to drip out the water for easy cutting. The stem is placed on the cutter. Well, it would be great if we had a cutting board, but we improvised with the cupboard base. Quite interesting. The stem heart is really hard to cut, so it requires great energy and technique, especially for the smaller pieces. Here, the outer layer is cut off first. Well, one may decide either way to leave it or not, but for the sake of tender cooked sauce, it's advised to remove more bits of the outer layer again. The rounded ends of the stem that have darkened are also removed. This kind also improves hygiene from the garden, right? The stem has kind of shortened, really, or shrunk. Well, we earlier removed a part for juice making, as we shall see. Now, here for easy cutting, recut this stem into two. The half part is then cut into further tinier pieces depending on the size and shape as desired. We must warn you, it doesn't look easy as it seems. These stem parts are pretty hard to cut through, and the sharper the knife, the better. The whole stem will be cut into these tiny rectangular pieces in preparation for cooking. You will see thread-like fibers coming off the cut pieces. Remove them. Once we are done with cutting the pieces, we get a saucepan to then add some that we shall use to wash the cut pieces. It's also important to keep these pieces fresh as the air quickly darkens them. Therefore, water does the trick to keep them fresh. We remove any extra fiber and leave them in water soaking. If they are not left in water, the pieces lose their fresh look, turning brown. Oh well, this is part of a banana. Did you know you can taste it even raw? Ha 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 ha. So you can see you can try eating it raw. Well, don't promise you a great taste, but a neutral taste indeed.
Nice.
Alright, now we wash the cut pieces carefully at the sink. We add more water to fully soak to the pieces as we keep them fresh. As we wash, any extra thread-like fiber is removed from the pieces. It's not an easy job to remove these threads. It's important to remove as much as you can to ease the eating, as we had to learn the importance of this process. We tried to use even the fiber stick to see if some threads can attach for easier removal. Use every method, though not all will get off, but the more that's removed, the better. Here, the cut pieces are thoroughly washed and placed in a new saucepan to remove the water before that may affect their freshness. We believe placing them in a new saucepan and water will definitely keep them even fresher. Having well washed the pieces, it's important not to leave them dry without water. Hence, we place them in new water that we shall them to soak in for a while as we prepare for actual cooking. To start the cooking process, we drain out the water that the pieces were soaking in earlier. This will give a fresh look to the pieces as we place fresh water for the real cooking. Putting enough water, the saucepan with the stem pieces is covered and taken to the outside small kitchen where we have the smoky fire-heated charcoal stove for boiling. The stems really take a while to become tender. Here we see they've started boiling and making some form. We then prepare the ingredients that will go with this sauce. You may decide all the ingredients like for any sauce one usually makes, but our menu of ingredients is skewed to onions that are added first. Once the stems have boiled a while, it's good to add salt, which can help make them more tender. Stir a bit to nicely let the salt soak in everywhere that's cooking. Then cover to leave boiling for a while before adding the seasoning ingredients as you would normally put in your soup making. While at that, we decided to make our sauce thicker by adding peanut or ground nuts. At this stage, we prepare the grinded nuts. Ground nuts can be eaten as crunchy fried seeds, but sauce making, the seeds are grinded into flour. For example, this thick paste is what we bought from the market and packed like this. One may decide to grind their nuts at home using traditional wooden motor and stick or electric grinder. Either way, these nuts once grinded sometimes make a thick flour paste, so water is added to dilute into a sauce and stirred nicely. The ground nuts, thick flour, and water should be well mixed to form a thick porridge-like liquid as seen here. If not well mixed, it causes particles during cooking that will not be good for the sauce. Now, this should be ready for cooking to be put on the hot charcoal stove. We put aside our now cooked banana stems to cook the groundnut sauce first. The groundnuts usually take a while to boil until ready. They will hence require some time. Once the boiling groundnut sauce starts forming thick bubbles, it means it's getting ready. Watch out, the bubbles can make the sauce pour out. Now that the groundnut sauce has well boiled, we put it aside and place back our cooked stems on fire. Stir them as they heat up quickly. Once the stems have heated up, the cooked groundnut sauce is then added to steaming banana stems. The thickness of the groundnut sauce may not all go into the stem saucepan. Therefore, a little water may be added to loosen the groundnut sauce for easy mixing. Both the sauces are now mixed and stirred nicely, merged as one. Now more ingredients are prepared for addition. Here tomatoes are prepared. First, the tomato skin is peeled off. It's advised as removing it helps the tomatoes to soften first. Besides, the skin is not good from garden sprays. The skinned tomatoes are then cut into small pieces. These are then added to the mixture sauce of stem and ground nuts. The sauce is covered for a while. Later, the tomatoes are mixed well into the sauce. One may add more seasonings where necessary to spice up the sauce as required. The boiling should take around an hour to ensure tenderness of the stem pieces before removing it. One may add margarine or fried oil or eaten raw oil like olive oil, or it could be butter. This adds a little oily taste to the boiled sauce. Or you may not necessarily add anything at this point. We decided to add a little butter for tasting purposes. And at that stage, one can scoop some soup to eat it alone, which we did. Then later started the banana food cooking process. Remember, the bananas harvested from the garden, we picked them from the store. These are green bananas that we eat widely, our staple food locally called matuk. Matuk should not be confused with yellowed ripened bananas. These type of bananas are eaten raw. First the peelings are cut, but at times the bananas can be cooked with the peels to preserve the food ingredients to nourish the body better. Well, there are several ways to prepare matuk, but we shall show the simplest urban process. Peeling matuk requires its own skill. The top is cut and peeled, going the bottom to cut off. Then line by line, the green peels are removed. It's kind of how a yellow banana is carefully unwrapped. Though here it will be a little sticky, requiring application of oil to remove the stickiness after peeling. Stay careful with clothing when peeling. Alright, now we're done with the peeling. These will be washed clean. Ensure you eat these bananas are eaten on time and never let them ripe. They won't be sweet as the yellow bananas, but the ripened ones can be boiled with peels and make a great taste, especially for children. After adding charcoal to the fire stove, you can see how we are simply boiling the matuk by adding water and covering the saucepan. Traditionally, this food is cooked very special in bananas leaves and served at every function like traditional and church weddings, celebrations, hotel buffets. Leaved matuk can be complicated, but in towns this is how we simply boil it. When it's soft, water is drained out, and then the pieces are smashed all together round and round. It's kind of like making ugali or maize, call it cornstarch or millet bread. It was getting dark here, but hope you can see. The main essence of cooking matuk, whether in banana leaves or simply boiled in water, is to make this thick yellow sticky smash. That's eaten. Well, this is the most common way to cook matuk. Smash it. Now, this is our stem sauce ready for serving. It's nicely thick from the groundnuts edition. The banana stems can be mixed in many sauces of choice to add that extra thickness, or just eat as is with any food. And here is our nicely mashed matuk. It's really a nice cooked yellow. Matuk is best eaten with groundnut sauce. So why not? It's exactly why we decided to have our stem banana sauce mix of groundnuts to be eaten with the matuk. We also bought a chapati to eat alongside as another type of food. And when you add avocado, what a topping! Yummy! It's been a pleasure to share with you our banana stem recipe. Try out and let's know. Smiles.